Hello, hello, everyone. How are you? I think I'm going to go for that. The color after the green is the Tiffany blue. So pretty. That green was super pretty. Hopefully there's healing on the situation. Isn't that pretty? I think it even goes lighter than that had I let it keep going, but I just did a shuffle on these in the prior read. I do want to bring some of the ones from the back to the midsection or the whatever. And then those to the front, so I don't know what's in the front. Back of the deck, we've got assumptions. Someone making some kind of assumptions. We all know what that's about. This card was made because I saw someone on the side of the road who was holding their sign up asking for money. And this person had it held in their face and their hoodie on their head, and they just had their eyes showing. I don't know if they didn't want to show their face. I don't know if they were just embarrassed or ashamed of what they were doing. Nothing to be ashamed from. I know that there's certain situations where people can't get a job. They try and they can't get a job for whatever reason. Or, there's some people who have addictions of some sort. There is help out there for people who do have addictions and you're wanting help. I think I might have posted it on the community post a while back in the very beginning, maybe about, I don't know. There's people who just assume that if you give them money, it's not for whatever the poster says. Like there's a family that I've seen in 2 different counties. Years ago, they were in the county I live, and then recently I found them in a different county with the same poster requesting funds in order to, was it bury a child, or I think it was bury a child. And they had the picture of the child there on the poster, and they were collecting money from people. So a lot of assumptions are out and about regarding what people are raising money for, or why they're there, or how they're there. But in any case, is it really up for us to judge outside of what it is? I mean, granted, you do have to decide whether you're going to give money or not. And I guess in the case, that is kind of like a judgment. My sister and I have had a situation where we had to decipher what is a judgment and what is a decision. And a lot of times your decisions are based on judgments, unfortunately. So I guess it would be important for you to decipher, and that's between you and the Most High, whether your decision is actually based on a judgment or not. And if that judgment is something of the persecuting kind, I guess that's where the separation would be. I don't know. Is it based on a judgment or an opinion? Anywho, center of the deck we have ... that awkward silence. It's the awkward silence in the assumption. It's like, why don't you just ask questions or talk about it? Speak constructively about it. Have a communicate about it. I know someone who insists up and down that they have some kind of opinion, but they don't have any specifics. And then when I ask about the specifics, they say you never listen, which is false. I'm always listening. I'm listening to the parts that don't have any sound, right? And in some regards, you just have to be like, well, whatever. I'm not going to assume about the situation because of what was displayed to me or spoken to me or shared with me. It just doesn't add up, quite honestly. And if we're going to go to the previous read where we were splitting the cards, it's like some kind of production. It's making someone sick. This lull in communication, this waiting for someone to say something perhaps is making someone unwell. Maybe there's some kind of projectile on the floor, unexpected. We've got a past life. So this could be something that happened in a past life, and here it is, we're dealing with it now. And maybe that's why it doesn't make any sense. Or maybe that's why it's not adding up. Maybe they just want the experiences that they had with you in this life to become something of the past life. They just don't want to deal with it anymore. The jury's out for me, whether like past life, like we passed away and came back. And maybe that's what it means that you have eternal life, because you just keep coming back and living the story because of your beliefs. Or if the past life, and maybe it's both, entails like, at one time you were a teacher, but now you're a doctor. So maybe like in a previous life, you were a teacher, but it's actually in this cycle of life, if that makes any sense. We've got transmutation happening here. Being able to transmute whatever had happened in a past life or past experience being transmuted. The unspoken words are making someone sick from a past life. So whatever happened in the past is making someone unwell, but someone is transmuting those things. Maybe someone's assuming that whatever is unspoken is making someone sick, but they're actually transmuting it. We've got the comb over, an intentional covering of something. This is the buzz cut underneath, and then you got the comb over. That's something that's intentionally was done, but in some cases, someone could be having a comb over because they are going bald and they're feeling vulnerable about it because they are losing their hair, and it's an adjustment that someone has to go through. I mean, it's just life, right? You get older, you lose your hair, even though they're saying now that there are some kind of scientific studies that can alleviate that or slow it down. I mean, I know they have certain shampoos and stuff you can use. We've got an eggplant. The eggplant, of course, is an emoji that symbolizes a male figure, a male individual. Whoops, I guess the light was on. It's also, maybe someone doesn't know something and they're just finding something out, because I know that when I did the research on the eggplant, because I wanted to find out what kind of background I should put on this card, I learned that the eggplant is actually a fruit, surprisingly enough. And even more surprising, it's a berry because it has the seeds. I'm sorry, it's a fruit because it has seeds, and it's a berry because it comes from the flower's ovaries. I had no idea. No idea at all. So pretty much people are substituting like eggplant parmesan instead of chicken. They're using berries. Cute, right? It's just, I may have to go back and try eggplant again with the new information in order to see if it changes the taste buds about it. Because I'm not a huge eggplant person. But anywho, maybe something is, there's a male figure who's feeling quite vulnerable now because of the assumptions that they had made. Or maybe it's someone who is plain trying to conceal something that they have done for whatever reason because they didn't know. We've got moments. We have the final test. Maybe they're in their last moments of this final test. There is still time to make the right decision. This card was made because there are people who are put on this planet or this earth. It's like you never, the comment or the saying that you never know. Can I even say the saying? Like an earth angel. There's angels walking the earth as people, and you just never know who you're going to run into. So just like perhaps someone who is in need is put before you in your path, and it's like the final test, whether someone's going to take advantage of this person or actually just help this person or just be kind to this person. And whatever you decide is where your next steps are going to be on that path. Maybe someone's been giving chance after chance after chance to make the right decision and not take advantage of someone. But yet here they are taking advantage of someone in a vulnerable situation. And now it's like, okay, well, that's it. Because you had so many moments where you said you didn't know. And now we're going to test you again and see where you go with the information of what you've learned in the past. This could have something to do with a business. Maybe there's someone who's part of some kind of business and they just act like they didn't know. Maybe there's a business who's vulnerable because they kept, I wanted to say, tipping the scales or taking advantage of the vulnerable. Someone was making a business of doing that. Someone's frustrated because they're being blocked. Maybe they're frustrated because they have to wait for some kind of communication. This is all about getting your password on this card. It's like you forgot your password because we've got a password for every single thing that we ever have to interact with on the computer. You forgot your password and now you've got to wait for the email to come in order to give you the the link or the number that you need to use in order to update your password, but sometimes that link never comes. Or they'll say, if you have an email associated with this, then we'll send you the email, but then it never comes. But then how long have you waited for something so you could be told it's not the right one? So someone's frustrated. Maybe someone's frustrated that they weren't told that this person probably wasn't the right one to mess with. Maybe they were told because they've had plenty of tests in the past and they decided to ignore those tests. They failed them every time. They took advantage of people. And again, this was their business. Bless you. I read somewhere you're not supposed to say thank you when someone says bless you for a sneeze. I don't recall what the reasoning was. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Maybe they're trying to lighten the blow. Maybe they're trying to give something more than what they had to give in order to appease this frustration. Maybe someone's thinking that they can sugarcoat the situation with whatever decision they had made. Maybe someone's being blocked because someone is so sweet and someone is so kind and someone is so nice and someone is so respectful when it is that you have to tell somebody no. I know I had a boss who was very abrupt, and this boss would be in the business would be very rude over the intercom or the walkie. making assumptions and acting like they knew what things were what was going on, when in actuality they didn't have a clue to what was going on. They were just making assumptions of what they thought was going on. And so in the beginning of time, when I first started, I would go to the person directly and not on the walkie, and I would explain what was going on in the situation, and then that way, you know, I guess I would be doing the comb over. It's like I would try to conceal what it was that was, conceal the fact that this person was wrong, just to be able to save face for them, because it was like, how embarrassing that you're so wrong. But after years of doing this, and this person getting increasingly like not even trying to change their behavior, always never considering the fact that they had been making assumptions and they were taking the wrong path on so many occasions, then I decided that I would just say it on the walkie and just be respectful about it and say, no, actually, that's not what happened. This is what's happened. So that's the story. So maybe someone, because they were so kind and so respectful in a situation, now someone is frustrated because whatever it is that they were doing to take advantage of other people or making assumptions has no merit. There could be someone who's trying to paint a picture like you're just someone who just makes assumptions and isn't kind, and, concealing the fact of, the whole storyline. What I just said, just put it in the way that it fits for you. But someone's finding out that this person is actually quite nice and quite respectful and quite kind. Maybe they always take the right path. I've got the number 19 here. Adds up to a 1, which is the beginning of a new cycle. We've got a semicolon. Maybe this person is starting a new cycle again about doing this whole combing it over situation. Maybe they could have stopped doing this whole thing, but they're going to keep on doing it, folks. I'm sorry to say. They're going to keep saying that they didn't know. It was a small thing. This is an A-line dress. It was a small thing. It started off small, and now it's just getting bigger and bigger. It's like they made a mess of it. Now it's reached far and wide. They've gotten so many people involved in this situation that now it's even more pertinent for this person to keep trying to tell their story about someone that is false. It's like they can't tell this story anymore because it's not true. This person is very kind. This person transmutes negativity. We've got the salmon. I don't know if I mentioned in this video, these are cards that I've made. They're all in different stages. We've got one, the 19 is just there. Then we've got the salmon with a wiggle worm and swimming upstream, just working really hard, just doing what they were meant to do. I mean, we could say that about this individual who is saying these things and who's frustrated and whatnot because of the business. They're just doing what they were meant to do. This person has to avoid all the pitfalls. It has to avoid all of the bears. It has to avoid all of the other ailments and the things in nature that are going to keep it from swimming easily upstream in order to just lay its eggs. That's all it wants to do. It's like literally just wants to lay its eggs. In this case, somebody just literally just wants to work, make their money, make their living, just move. They just want to do what they need to do. We've got the puffer fish. The puffer fish is poisonous if you eat it, right? Isn't that the fish that's poisonous? It has been said in the wild that the dolphins will pass around a puffer fish just because it will alter their state of consciousness And so they just have fun with it. It's kind of sad, though, that in the moment of somebody's upset is somebody else's entertainment. Doing that has deadly consequences. We're just waiting for the paint to dry at this point. We're just adding more color to a situation. Maybe someone's trying to paint it on thick. Maybe they're trying to say that someone is someone who partakes in some kind of extracurricular substances. We've got the yarn, trying to find a loophole in this situation, creating some kind of project, yet another resource, negotiation. Someone could be trying to look for more funds in order to support this story. Maybe they're coming up with some kind of sob story or sweet story about whatever it is that's been going on for the unsuspecting people who just didn't know and they're walking into this new. I don't know why I'm thinking about the narcissist. It's like they keep moving on to new people who don't know. Once they've been discovered, it's like they just move on to a new person. We've got a fishbowl. Trying to isolate someone, taking care of someone, being left out on the counter. Again, with being someone else's entertainment. Through isolation. We've got the asterisk, which is paying attention to the details or causing attention to a certain word or instance or something. It's also the Star of Bethlehem, believe it or not. So it could have some kind of connection to Bethlehem. Someone could be Arabic. We've got the Sunnyside egg. Haven't seen this in a while. You crack the egg open where it's nice and safe, and then now you're in the frying pan. Someone has been sitting in the frying pan. Maybe because of whatever was highlighted about this isolation of somebody. And again, it was something that started off quite small and it got really out of hand and just blown out of proportion, or just, we've got a raspberry beret, the kind you find in a secondhand store. So maybe somebody's information is secondhand regarding all of this hard work and all the tests that have been going on, or someone being tested. Maybe someone can't take accountability or responsibility for their own part in things, and so they're trying to blame someone else for it. Someone's getting secondhand information. Something that's been submerged, it's coming to the surface. It always does. This is also the Pisces card. Maybe the Pisces is getting passed around. Maybe that's the business they're in. We've got their integrity being for sale, sold for the highest bidder. Maybe that's their business. And if it is their business, honestly, it is their business, what they do with themselves. Maybe the Pisces was saying that someone else was passing themselves around for money. We've got the caged heart. It is coming off the chain, though, so that's good news. But a caged heart is a heart that wants to love but cannot love for whatever reason. It's being kept from love. Maybe someone was saying, maybe someone's going and telling people's potentials that this person is nothing but someone who sells themselves, passes themselves around. This person is a troublemaker. This person is someone who just causes mischief for somebody else's entertainment. that they don't have the ability to love. We've got a loaf here. Either someone's lazy, they're saying someone is lazy, or it has to do with somebody's money, making money, or sharing the wealth. The beret is going to be the center card of the entire read, which means all of this stuff is going around the fact that something was said or experienced secondhand. It's not even their first. It wasn't even them who even witnessed it or participated or whatnot. Everything that's being said or heard or whatever or understood is all secondhand. That's why there's assumptions. That's why someone's needing to transmute the fact that they're feeling unwell because of the time that someone wasn't speaking to someone else. I had no idea this person was lying to me, and I had no idea that all the stuff that I was being told about this person wasn't true. I didn't know. Well, now you know, because instead of going direct to the source, you wanted to listen to whoever was around you trying to say things, and now there's trouble brewing. Saith the Lord. Saith is saying something with the matter of authority. All these pieces to a whole. We've got the swan. Someone was trying to speak on something with authority in reference to somebody's relationship or love relationships. Considering we have past life and we have swan, maybe it has something to do with people who recurring. If you believe in past lives, this is someone that you have the same relationship with over and over and over and over again. And will continue to have the same relationship with this individual until you figure out how to heal it. Someone's being stubborn. Someone's carrying a heavy load. Someone's not talking about it. They're not saying anything. Maybe someone's asking someone not to say anything. They need help, folks. They seriously need help. Maybe they're so far into some kind of deception that they're just like, now what do I do? They need a doctor. They're going to have to call a doctor. Someone's being super haunted about whatever it is that they were told, that they fed into, that they believed. Maybe they're with someone who passes themselves around because of the secondhand information. Maybe it's sloppy seconds. Maybe they're addicted to this way of life. We've got a sprinkler. Watering the grass, entertainment, multi-purpose. A little sprinkle. We've got the kiss. The kiss, the artist, that's another thing about assumptions. People assume that the kiss picture was actually about some kind of romantic setting, but in all actuality, that was a made for his business partner and platonic friend was the inspiration to that. But in this case, maybe someone's getting a little kiss here and there. Maybe someone is in some kind of intimate relationship with someone of authority who speaks authority. Microphone. Center stage. An announcement. Again, with the details, alerting some kind of detail Something's being spoken about, announced. Something's going to be made loud and clear. About the what if. This is the Loch Ness. It also has something to do with Scotland. It's like, is it real or is it not real? Someone's going to start talking about that. The assumptions. Someone needs to come clean about the assumptions or what was said secondhand. The truth of the matter. In order for it all to be let go. Let go of the myth. Let go on even needing to know. Let go of what has nothing to do with you. We have a gift here. Someone needs to let go of some kind of gift. Maybe once you let go, you'll will receive this gift. Yes, the gift will come to surface. This is the orca card. The orca has a little laptop on his nose. Another story that I read about someone who lost their phone and an orca whale brought it up to surface as it came down. And the person was able to retrieve their phone. So maybe there's some kind of gifts that were submerged or put under cover or something, or being hidden. But those are coming to the surface. Those are going to be seen by everybody. Maybe someone thought their gifts were lost. Maybe a gift is going to be recovered because someone took it. Maybe the gift was taken because of whatever the secondhand information was of what they heard. I'm noticing that on my photos, a lot of them are off-centered with the words and off-centered as far as the actual drawings. I guess that's just my signature. And some of them won't even have enough room for the side. We all have a signature of some sort, and maybe that is mine. Interesting, for sure. We've got the battery for the outcome. Someone's going to be able to recharge, regroup. We've got a studio. Maybe it has to do with creative pursuit of something. The number 6. Family. It's also the card of imperfect person. Could be 6 people involved, 6 studios involved. Maybe there'll be 6 whatever. Someone's unhinged. This imperfect person is unhinged because someone's going to be able to go back to creating. Yes, you're on the right track. The clownfish. Just keep swimming. Just keep going. You're on the right track. Just keep going. Wheelchair. Recover. Recovering from betrayal. Now this sleeve. Well, I guess I know which sleeves I like better because these seem to keep ripping on the bottom and now it's ripping on the side. So just recovering from this betrayal. That's the ultimate outcome, is the fact that someone's going to be able to continue to create. They understand that people are not perfect. Sometimes they get unhinged. Maybe the family is unhinged. You're on the right track. Just keep swimming. The support is there. Just keep moving, even if it's at a slow pace, from this betrayal. The bad thing about doing these stories every day is like they're pretty much the same story for quite some time until they change. We've got someone who's grounded. Could be a Leo. What are they destroying? You can't swap. So maybe someone was trying to destiny swap someone, so you can't do that. We've got ground again. That's weird. I didn't know I had 2 cards of ground and grounded. Something's underground. Maybe something is whole. Judas. Judas the betrayer. I guess the story about Judas is that he didn't think that what would go down with Jesus would go down the way it did. He assumed that Jesus was going to be able to get out of the situation. And because of his assumption of thinking that Jesus was just going to get out of the situation from being accused of stealing, it kind of just got out of hand. And so perhaps it wasn't Judas's intention to betray Jesus to the depth of what happened, the outcome, because he literally thought that Jesus was going to be able to get out of the situation. It would be no big deal, and now Judas would be able to keep the silver that he stole, because people wouldn't figure out it was him because they blamed Jesus, someone who would never do any wrong. So he just assumed. I'm repeating myself now. Which I find very interesting, because that was the end of Jesus, and he didn't even try to defend himself. He just let it play out. Maybe Jesus thought that, judge and jury would do the right thing, and they didn't do the right thing. They didn't do the right investigations. They didn't do what they needed to do in order to find the truth, because perhaps they just saw what it was they wanted to see and not what the truth was. Their non-action. Maybe they didn't even do their job. And of course, Judas didn't stand up and say, hey, it was me. I actually told a fib. It was my fault. I took it. I just, So it's important to do your research, and that goes with anything that you see, hear, even what you're being told, what is being spoken. I don't know why I'm thinking I didn't cover all the bases. Whatever you hear, whatever you see, whatever you witness, I guess that would be seeing. Especially if it's all secondhand. Do your research. And that goes for anything, any profession. I know a lot of times when I was growing up or whatnot, raising kids, I really thought, even as an adult, I really considered that people in the medical field, that they just knew what they were talking about, but they're human too. And I've mentioned this in a previous story, that I had a doctor, general practitioner, who was very eager to set me up on beta blockers for something. And I hadn't even seen a specialist. And apparently they didn't know that some of the signs might have been hormone related. And had I listened to what the doctor was prescribing me, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So you have to be your own advocate and do your own research, even when you're being prescribed things. A lot of times, all the specialists will prescribe something, and maybe they just don't know that you're on something else. Who knows? That goes with supplements. If you hear about a great supplement that's supposed to help you, still do your research, because I know for people who are on, what's the one that needs is grapefruit? You're not supposed to have grapefruit. I don't know if that's high pressure meds or if that's diabetic meds, but I know that one of them is if you take grapefruit, then it makes whatever medicine you're taking either not work or even overdoes what the medication already does. So I know there's grapefruit seed extract that is great for certain things, but if you're already on medication that you're not supposed to take grapefruit for, then it can really mess up the system of things. So that's why anytime someone suggests something that you take something or do something, do your own research and on all of it. I guess I'm saying that a million times. I can't find my other cards. They must have fallen off the table behind the chair, and it's down here in a corner that I'm not ready to reach for right now. Wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. If and when you have, I know there's 60% of the people who are that watch the channel on a regular basis. They're not subscribed. So please consider to subscribe just because it's free. If you like the video, of course, like the video. Otherwise, I appreciate your time and wanting to be here. I appreciate the comments. I'm going to check the comments now just because I can't do it while I'm doing video. I'm not set up that way. And I like to be able to see the comments to respond to them. And there are no comments, so that's fine. With that being said, guys, make it a great day. There's always something in every day that you can find that will make it great. Take care.